Welcome back to another update. Skipped a week just because I was busy and poor planning on my side. This reminded me to talk about what else do I do actually. So there is a thing called Time of Your Life, a program by Tony Robbins that you had to do before you attended his Business Mastery event in 2019. They have swapped that. You don't need to go through that anymore unless you choose to. But previously, as part of the plan to even have the access to Business Mastery, bear in mind it costs, I believe, £10,000 is the cheapest price to Business Mastery. Never mind. But to even get access to that, you had to complete this and then give a feedback to the coach, a trainer assigned to you. But you would just go through, hey, I did this and this is what's come out of. And truth be told, this is the most impactful program I've ever gone through with Tony. I've obviously done many things, and this brings me to another question that I'm going to address later. Is that, but at the moment, this is the things that I do on top of my coaching and all that kind of stuff. So I still coach people predominantly online. I do some one-to-one work, which is very specific. And I don't really advertise that. And it will be one person at a time for a prolonged period of time. And it's very specific, very precise, and I will only do it with certain type of people. So if you don't know about it, it's probably not for you. That being said, let's bring back to this. So what I'm doing with Tony Robbins now at the moment is aside stuff on everything else on top of what I do. I'm one of his senior leaders, which means I help people to understand what he actually teaches. And one of the things is understanding how to manage your time, understanding the power of identities, understanding how your brain works. And I just went through my notes. I love journals. Like I have boxes and boxes of journals. And every time I journal stuff with a pen and paper, not on my iPad, I get extremely good results. So when I did Time of Your Life first ever time around, I literally made 10 times more profit within a month than I would usually do in a year. It was great. That being said, it all was down to just changing my focus. Instead of focusing on making money, I was focusing on creating value. And it took me forever to get around actually doing it precisely, consistently, and getting back into it. And I just looked through all my journals, I pulled them all out, because I'm going to reassess what I've done, what I have completed. And every single time I've done it, I've printed this many times. I have the original journal, then I have printouts, then I did it on iPad multiple times. iPad was the worst strategy ever. So, and I've had this conversation with some people that I work with, and they go like, hey, I'm just going to make notes in my phone. It's never going to work. It just does not work. For whatever goddamn reason, you will never pick up that note from your phone. It's like taking photos in a university or whatever. You're never gonna open up that phone again. It's just not gonna work. If you write it with pen and paper, it just gets indoctrinated in your brain better, because some of us are visual, some of us are auditory, some of us are kinesthetic. So when you feel, write, see, it definitely sticks in your brain better. I believe there was some kind of like vague numbers that only 7% of what you hear you actually remember. But there's almost 90-something% that you will remember if you write it down yourself. So when you assess your knowledge and then write down what you actually know, you are more likely to kind of take it as part of yourself. And if you try to teach it to somebody else, then it's 10 times better. So I looked into my first journal, and I didn't even complete all the things that I wrote down there. But first 4 that I wrote down that I'm gonna do, I executed to the highest level. And I didn't even know that, because I had forgotten that I've done this. So I haven't even gone through all the stuff that every single time I restarted I don't look in my old journal. I kind of just start fresh and see where it goes, because I started from a completely different point. And one of the things that you're looking into is how much time you actually waste. You know, people go like, oh, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. And this is a really good kind of bullshit meter in understanding how much time you actually have checking your phone screen time and things like that. So here at this point, I checked in myself that I was wasting over 60 hours a week on stuff that makes no sense. Checking your phone, watching some movies, cooking, doing some garbage stuff that someone else can do. You know, why the hell would you spend 10 hours in the kitchen if you can hire somebody to do that? And you will say, hey, yeah, but I don't have money. Well, learn a skill that can pay somebody who really enjoys cooking, really enjoys that stuff, to do it for you. And now you've got more time. Now you've paid somebody. Now you've given somebody a job. And you can learn even better stuff to move forward. So the interesting part of that is that I love this. I've always been invested into trying to understand human mind. You know, I'm extremely fortunate to have somebody like Andy Triana who digs into brain inside out and talks about BDNF and all those kind of things, that how you create these patterns and all this kind of stuff. And it's great to understand the physiology of how stuff works, but you still need to have that understanding of psychology to make sure that people execute. How you're learning stuff is extremely important. The environment and all those things are extremely important, but to put the person in the right environment takes a lot of unwrapping their mindset at the moment, you know. And now I'm going to bring you back to somebody, what somebody left on one of my posts. They're like, hey, it looks like you're joined some kind of cult, and all you talk about is that everyone should be doing it, and if somebody doesn't do it, they're an idiot or something like that, which I've never said that to begin with. But this just tells me a lot about that person, that their understanding of world is completely different to mine. What I say and what they hear are two different things. What they focus on is that everyone is they're slugging them off, that they are not doing the right thing and all that kind of stuff. It's a miserable way of living. If I gave two shits about what someone else thinks about my life, I won't get very far. So, and to get to that mindset, it requires you to be surrounded by people who are always thinking like that. You know, I used to think that I'm not very social, but I'm not very social with people who are, the way I can describe it the best is not invested in themselves to become better. It bores the hell out of me to sit there and chat some garbage about like what happened on a weekend, or who did this and who did that, who slept with whom and this and that. To me, it's like, to 12-year-old kids, like, who the hell cares? Like, to me, that's, I don't want to be social with those kind of people. They just drain me. And understanding that your life is your responsibility is a tough cookie to kind of digest, because not many want to take that responsibility. And there are a lot of work in psychology and whatnot, that there are like levels of consciousness, and you can never see the next level of consciousness until you really exhaust the one you are in at now. It's like when somebody explains you how 2D, 3D, 4D worlds work and all those kind of things. Unless you have exhausted your current worldview, you can never reach that next level, because you're not interested to even be there. You are so engraved into your way of thinking, your way of processing things, that you just don't want to step up and change something about it. I am extremely fortunate that I was always taught since I was little kids that my life is my responsibility. Like, no matter where you have come from, whatever the hell you want to do, you're gonna grow up into who you want to become. My dad used to say that. I was even taken to one of these, how do you call it, mediums or whatever. And this woman just looked at me, she's like, I can't say anything about you, but you're gonna be great. Either great at being really bad or great at being really good. So these kind of things, it means nothing. But that kind of sentence engraves in your head, okay, I'm going to be great at something, but I need to put in work into that. But if you have a vision that you're going to become somebody, you are definitely going to put work into that. If somebody goes and tells you, hey, you're going to be a professional athlete, all you need to do is just follow through these things, and I 100% believe in you, you're going to follow it through way more than somebody just chirps in your head, no, you're useless, you'll never amount to anything, nobody in your family ever did this, and nobody in your family ever did that, and whatever. So, yeah, I enjoy this journey. So I'm still doing online coaching. I still love working with people. I love turning people into absolute beasts. But more often than not, I find that I cannot help too many people because I just have so much opportunities to reach out to people to so many countries now that I need to expand my ability to understand them. I find it easy to connect with people from my country, from people to UK, but when it comes to different cultures like US or Australia or Mexico or something like that, I still don't have those skills. And this is why I'm investing my time. For next year, I will be doing just that. I will be just trying to understand how humans think, why they think the way they do, and can I help them understand me, and do I have the skill set to sit there and listen to them to understand their world instead of projecting my opinion on them. That being said, kind of covered all that kind of stuff. All the training and everything else is pretty much same at the moment. So I'm floating around 120 kilos. I'm stuck there for like 4, 5, 6 weeks. But the thing is, I've been up and down with a lot of other things that I'm quite fortunate that I haven't lost any weight. That being said, I'm getting back to a journal. I need to sit down and write down a plan. What is the outcome for next 90 days, next 120 days, next 100 to 365 days. Once I get that nailed down, I can guarantee that whatever I'm going to write down and focus on it will improve. Will my body be my priority? Most likely, yes. But I will make it priority in certain times of the day. Hey, between that and that time, I'm going to be doing this just for my body. And that time, I will be doing this just for my mission. And that time, I will be doing work just for developing my skills as a senior leader, and so on and so forth. So whatever the hell you are focusing on, I would really encourage you to just get out pen and paper and write down your thoughts. And if you need any advice, reach out. Let's have a chat. I'm available. Even if you want kind of like live talk, one-to-one, drop me a message. We can organize something. On that note, I'll see you next week.